How's it going, everybody? Brett Mix here from Ultra Wrestling 101. This is another WrestleMania review. This is WrestleMania 31. First and foremost, if you like my videos or if you want to talk the history of wrestling or keep up to date with live events, hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it. It would help get my channel off the floor, and it'd mean a lot to me. But let's just get WrestleMania 31 going, because this is what you clicked here for. So this is the 31st WrestleMania of 1 to 39 that I'm doing here before the 40th happens. This was a good watch. I'm going to go back to my notes, obviously, for the play-by-play that I did about a decade ago. But the ratings, I've updated the ratings for the matches. So I've updated what my original thought was to what this thought was. But first, I just want to say what, as far as ratings go. Star ratings. First, I wanted to say that the WWE reported that this was the highest grossing event, drawing a revenue of $12.6 million just from their ticket sales alone, from the live ticket sales, from the 76,976 people that showed up. That's what the number was, so that's pretty impressive if that's the case. We all know that WWE has inflated their numbers over time, so is it the best reference? I don't know. Alright, to open WrestleMania 31, we had the Intercontinental title match between Bad News Barrett, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, Luke Harper, R-Truth, and Dean Ambrose. This was a classic match. This ladder match, it featured it's pretty much what the Money in the Bank ladder match would do if you had these guys in it. It was no different than a Money in the Bank ladder match. Only difference is that you get a title here instead of a contract for a title. And the title was the IC title, so they tried to make it prestigious again, which is fine by me. Ricky Steamboat even met with the winner after this match and said that was on par with Savage Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. I don't know about that, but it was a nice congratulatory thing to say. Ton of bumps in this match. Ambrose had a sick bump where he got flipped over through the ladder on the outside that was hanging on between the barricade and the apron. That was a sick bump to his back. A lot of guys took big bumps. Daniel Bryan with a lot of the offense. Wade Barrett drop kicked him right in the face while he was hanging the ladder. While he had the ladder. Luke Harper also dished out a ton of punishment and went through some of his own too. Ziggler with some good moves. This was a just crash and bang match. I rate this as a classic. I give it 4 stars and a quarter. In the end, Daniel Bryan was the victorious when he grabbed the ladder at 13:47. Again, 4 stars and a quarter. Just a great way to start WrestleMania, and for a spot fest, it was a damn good one. Next, we had Seth Rollins taking on Randy Orton, who had a pretty good feud. Rollins, of course, had Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury with him. That came into play a little bit, but at the end, it was Orton who got the win at 13:15 with an amazing RKO in midair as Rollins went for a curb stomp, and he got so much, with his agility, he got so much hang time, and Orton to counter that into an RKO was just beautiful sight to see. It's one of the best finishing sequences I've ever seen. So Orton gets the victory at 13:15, and I gave this match 3.5 stars. So far, so good for WrestleMania 31. It's starting out very good. Next, we got Sting versus Triple H, a dream match of sorts. Not one that you would stay up at night saying, "Oh, Sting would face Triple H." More of a, "Oh, well, that's a cool concept" type of match. Sting versus The Undertaker is what we'd all want to see. Austin versus Goldberg, there's The Rock versus DDP. There's tons of matches that we didn't get to see. Bret Hart versus Brock Lesnar, Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. Those are dream matches. This one was it was a good match when it was all said and done. The second half of this match really was. People will remember a match for the second half, not the first half. And the second half really picked up the pace. The first half was pretty boring, to be honest with you. And not from I'm going to chain wrestle and wear you down on the mat. It was boring because there was no substance. to the brawling and then to the side headlock. They weren't wearing each other down. They were just doing rest holds. I think this was just to buy time, and because Sting is over the hump and Triple H wasn't a regular competitor at the time. So they just bought time until the spots that they remembered once DX and the NWO came out. So there's a lot of nostalgia there, but did they pick the right winner? I don't know about that. Triple H has gone over some questionable times at WrestleMania. He goes over here. I give the match 3 stars, mostly just for the nostalgia. The match itself wasn't anything classic, or it's not something you really want to watch again unless you're watching it for the DX NWO part. But it is, unless you're a Sting fan too, because it is his only, I believe it's his only match of WrestleMania history. So there's that. But yeah, 3 stars. But when you open this WrestleMania up with 3 matches above 3 stars, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Next up, we have Paige and AJ Lee versus the Bella Twins. I gave this 2 stars and a half. I thought it wasn't terrible. I thought they carried the Bellas to a workable match. The women's division was getting more serious around this time, and it really showed with the performance they put on at WrestleMania. It was a decent women's match. Next up, we had Rusev versus John Cena. This was your typical big man who's undefeated versus John Cena. Super Cena comes back and wins. We've seen John Cena work this type of match with, just recently in 2023, he worked this match, I believe, against the Judgment Day when he was with LA Knight, and then he came back in a Superman way and won. He also worked this match at WrestleMania 21 versus JBL. He got the shit kicked out of him for 10 minutes and then won. He's used to this heel beat down on Cena. Super Cena comes back and wins. He's used to that formula. Sucks that Rusev had to have his first loss here, but it was it was a good win for Cena. I gave it 2 stars and a quarter just because it's a recycled formula. And The Rock and Ronda Rousey had a segment with Triple H and Stephanie that went over well. The Rousey wasn't a competitor at the time, so there's that to remember. Up next, we had The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. So I commented on how Bray Wyatt had to unfortunately lose at the WrestleMania, but the year before, I believe, when he faced John Cena. And now they put him in a feud with The Undertaker. Of course, that's a good match to watch, but The Fiend versus The Undertaker would have been something. But The Undertaker was past his hump, and you knew The Undertaker was going to win because he's not going to lose 2 WrestleManias in a row after winning 21. So you just knew Undertaker was going to win this, which really took the fun factor out. So when he eventually won, it just kind of reinforced what your thought was. And it's good that the Undertaker won. I just wouldn't have booked the match. I would have given Bray a big win at this Mania and then booked it the next year, and then Bray could lose. He needed a WrestleMania victory because of what happened last year, but then again, getting to face Cena and Taker at back-to-back Manias isn't the worst thing in the world. He challenged his counter to Sister Abigail into another tombstone, and he got the win at 15-12. So I rate this match 2 stars and a quarter. So last couple matches were 2 stars and a quarter. Next, we had the main event between Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Mystery Man Seth Rollins. This one was unique because Brock and Roman the fans weren't really behind this, right? The fans were thinking, oh no, not Brock and Roman, because Brock we're not on board with. He beat the streak, so a lot of the fans are like, oh, we hate Lesnar, and he's not a full timer, so we hate him. So it's like legit heat, and then the other half of the fan base doesn't want to cheer Roman either, because this was right after Succotash, the Succotash promo. So fans were really against Lesnar. They even chanted "This is awful" for a part of it that was slow, but they were just getting their bearings. This was actually a really physical match. This thing went the distance. Seth Rollins includes one of the best cash-ins ever. Before Seth Rollins came out, this got bloody and brutal. So this was a match that's to be remembered. I rate this match 4 stars, including Seth Rollins' cash-in. That's probably half a star to 3/4 of a star right there. Yeah, I really dug this. This is better than I thought it would have been. This is better than anybody thought it would have been with his involvement and the match itself. So I'm giving it 4 stars. Overall, I rate this WrestleMania 8 out of 10. I really think that this delivered quality over quantity. If you go match for match, you can't really find weaknesses. There wasn't terrible matches on this card. There was just good to great ones. Triple H and Sting could have been better. The winner could have been changed. Same with The Undertaker and Bray, but neither match was terrible. Both matches were passable or in the good category. Even the women's match was in the good category. And then there's just great ones with it. So I rate this 8 out of 10. We'll see what WrestleMania 32 holds. Click like and subscribe if you want to follow along. I'm Brett Mix for WrestleMania 31, and I'm out.